Hey, every now and then, there's a financial phenomenon that has its 15 minutes of fame on social media. In the case of Forex or foreign exchange market trading, all the influencers and wannabe influencers collectively decided to throw on fake jewelry, join an MLM, and start pushing their neighbors to put their child's college tuition into the Japanese yen or some.
Repeat after me. Chase the charts, not the money.
I remember being on Instagram from 2018 to 2020 when several people in my extended network started ranking up and spraying gibberish all over my timeline.
We got a new P700, man, right?
I haven't seen them bragging about Platinum 700 in a long time, though. Thank God. Don't let the social media bullshit trick you into thinking Forex isn't a real financial trading strategy, though. It absolutely is. In our episode about crypto, I mentioned that Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX got his start by trading Forex before he even thought about creating the company. We're here to separate fact from fiction, break down what this trading strategy looks like in the wild, and explain why you probably shouldn't see it as your ticket to financial freedom, at least not through these traders. Before we get started, I want y'all to send this video to your grandpa. He's spending all his Viagra money on Forex trades, and it's getting concerning.
There are a handful of growing scams that are designed to steal your money.
Pay the fee, that's it. Just pay the
fee. Yeah, my name is Swaggy C. 9 years ago, I was super broke in college and came across gay trading.
Foreign exchange trading is the process of buying one currency and selling another with the goal of making profit from the trade. It's about capturing that value between the two, and timing is a key aspect. Forex doesn't have a central marketplace, unlike most markets. The trading is done over the counter electronically. OTC trading is considered risky due to the lenient reporting policies and lower transparency compared to exchange trading, like the NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, etc. The FX market is the only truly continuous and non-stop trading market in the world. The market's mostly institutions, investment banks, commercial banks, and retail investors from around the world. It seems to be used mostly for speculation and to hedge against decreases in currency value. In other words, covering your ass against inflation. If we were talking about Ponzi schemes, this piece would be incomplete without me bringing up Bernie Madoff. Well, there's a person who stands out in the Forex world to that same extent. He's on the opposite side of the table, though, since he technically exploited a currency while risking his own financial health, not clients. If you've watched Fox News by accident or heard at least one Trump speech about liberals, you've probably heard the name George Soros.
He'll go to a person holding a sign who gets paid by Soros or somebody.
Liberal billionaire George Soros.
I think Americans really need to be worried about this man.
We like to act as if only younger people can innovate. That's not true at all, though. 2 Chainz's debut album went #1 at 36 years old. Ava DuVernay released her first hit film, Middle of Nowhere, at 40. At that same age, Mark Twain wrote the book that's responsible for the only black kid in my AP English Lit class having to hear the N-word 219 times. And Hungarian investor George Soros broke the Bank of England by short-selling the pound sterling, Great Britain's currency, at 62 years young. Here's how he earned $1 billion in one shot.
Yeah.
What's short selling? Finance majors, bear with me. We got to make sure everyone's on the same page. If you don't own a stock and you think it's ass, you can place a bet against that stock that it's going to fall to a certain price. You have to borrow stock to do this, and you're paying a premium for borrowing it for the entire time period. Your potential gains are limited by the bet you made, but your losses, basically unlimited. This can bankrupt you, and it requires almost perfect timing. One of my favorite movies, The Big Short, is about a real group of traders who profited like this by short selling the housing market, taking advantage of the terrible home loans that caused the 2008 financial crisis in the US. Side note, tracking major expenditures wouldn't have helped most of the victims of the '08 crash, but you could definitely benefit from it. Some of you might not pay the most attention when charges hit. That can lead to things like defaulting on loan payments, false charges following identity theft, and more. This is where today's sponsor, Aura, steps in. As you can see, they call it out when one of my expenditures is past the limit. I didn't even have to tell them what my limit was. They picked that up once I started using them regularly a few months ago. And they automatically flagged the unusual charges for me. Combine this feature with their ability to track and report on your credit health, store your passwords across the web, and get your info off of these malicious data broker sites, and they already got an edge on the cybersecurity products I've used in the past. In my last internet scams video, I mentioned they could warn you about things like the AT&T hack, and I literally got that exact warning when my email was detected on the dark web. Clutch, to say the least. I got enough spam in my life as is. Aura is affordable, convenient, and you can test drive it for free. I don't really see a downside. Use my link, aura.com/CamJames, to get a 2-week free trial and find out where your data is being sold right now. Back to George. This man Soros held a short position of $10 billion and came out of that trade $1 billion in the black. I bet most of y'all didn't even know what he was famous for. I definitely didn't. Great Britain had to pull the pound from the European exchange rate mechanism in '92, since they no longer met the requirements. They called it Black Wednesday. Most things with black in front of their name are pretty terrible. Black Death, Black Friday, Black Air Forces, everything except people. Now, you know why he's considered a GOAT of the Forex industry. I wouldn't personally call somebody a hero for destroying a currency's liquidity, but that's just me. Where did all the conspiracies about him get started, though? This is YouTube, so no matter how I explain this, someone's gonna hate it. The short answer is politicians. The long answer, he wrote an opinion piece in 2015 about asylum for immigrants in his home country of Hungary. Then the Hungarian Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, who needed an enemy to amp up his voter base, enlisted assistance from a couple top-notch political strategists to roast his ass publicly while twisting George's position into let all the immigrants in so they can destroy everything.
And they use this for political campaigning. And then there's even like political posters they created where they show George Soros and a bunch of allies in a photo montage cutting through a wire fence.
Getting your points misconstrued in a piece about showing empathy to immigrants and reforming the existing system. Sounds familiar. He went scorched earth on this man, and most of the political conspiracies involving former President Obama and other liberal figures that you've heard since then can be traced back to that one campaign full of lies. That's really all it takes. People are kind of gullible. I read the article he wrote. It's pretty solid. Link in the description. Still with me? Bet. He's not off the hook. No billionaire, from the financial markets especially, is a good person. The sheer amount of people you have to disregard and over to amass that much money is almost incalculable. I am not praising or defending him. I'm not a fanboy for any millionaire, much less billionaire. There's a long list of false accusations made against him over time. Here's a Reuters article debunking several of the most popular ones, including him being a former Nazi, but he's Jewish, him owning Antifa and Black Lives Matter. The sentence doesn't even make sense. Neither of those organizations are centralized, so they can't be owned. And his Open Society organization funding liberal protests like the one in Ferguson, which no one has been able to prove, because, you know, Black people can't just be legitimately angry over police brutality. Look, that long-ass side plot was necessary. Technically, the trade that made him a billionaire was an example of Forex market activity. He used the pound in the 90s. Famously aggressive trader Andy Krieger earned $300 million by shorting the New Zealand dollar in 1987. Black Monday, the first modern global financial crisis. These names aren't very creative. And this chain stretches way back to the earliest Forex trades in the late 1800s, after the gold standard became a thing. Seems like shorting currencies is the most popular way to get a big-ass bag, if you're willing to benefit from an entire economy falling to its knees. Now that we've seen some of the GOATs, let's get to these sheets.
You get the bag and fumble it, I get the bag and flip it and tumble it. Hey, straight off the lot, 300 cash, and the cocaine with a blunt in it.
I think this is the first time I get to talk about an MLM since episode 1. Y'all remember iMarkets Live? Well, since they changed the name after lawsuits, I should probably say I Am Academy.
Do you ever feel like you were meant for something more?
Do you know what you can do when you get the skill?
Well, did you know that 85% of people don't feel happy or fulfilled at their jobs?
You know how much money you can make?
They simply dread waking up every single day. I mean, really, what if things could truly be different?
iMarkets Live was an MLM built around Forex and stock trading. It was founded by Chris Terry and employed salesmen and presenters from companies like Vima that were already shut down by the FTC. These included people like Alex Morton, who built his name on pushing Vima to college students, then joined like 3 different MLMs after each one started declining due to legal pressure.
Month after month, I saw my people struggling. How long are we gonna let the bleeding continue? I am officially resigning from Vima, and I'm joining a company that's gonna allow me to dream bigger. Get ready to go all in.
These top salesmen could make as much as $750,000 a month from their downlines on top of getting paid to represent the company. Side note, I had to show y'all Alex's official YouTube channel. Numbers ain't everything, but he has less subscribers than I do and way more videos. And he's the millionaire, remember that. But check this out, the most important part, nobody's watching this shit. And he keeps making them. Look at all these goddamn videos full of this toxic alpha male bullshit. Let's check out the About Me section real quick. So what is a momentum catalyst, first off? And in 2023, he had an event that featured Grant Cardone and Stormy Wellington. Well, don't forget the mastermind on a yacht. After iMarkets Live was investigated in 2018 for their sales practices and false promises by the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission and exposed by anti-MLM group Truth in Advertising, Terry rebranded the company as IM Academy.
It's a market that you can exchange in, that you can profit in without owning any physical money. And I want to introduce you to the foreign exchange market.
Those of you who do remember these companies may be thinking, Cam, they got shut down. Why are you bringing them up? They only got shut down temporarily in America and parts of Europe, but they're still going in other countries to this day. In this Bloomberg article from earlier this year, iMarkets Live and IM Academy founder / former organized crime affiliate Chris Terry is dissected, and we're given proof of continued conferences and active operations in cities like Rotterdam, Budapest, and even African countries like Nigeria. Here's how their compensation structure worked. Remember the platinum rank we made fun of in the intro?
So what does this P700 really mean?
Don't worry about it, man. You just keep bringing more people.
That's a real thing. Each rank is tied directly to the monthly residual payment you make from the people you recruited. A Platinum 150 gets $37.50 per week for recruiting 3 people, and that adds up to $150. Likewise for Platinum 1000, which gets $250 per week. Chairman ranks get a bonus on top of that payment for the total group volume they've reached, along with their downline. That's the basic structure, and there's a max payout per line, which is spelled out in this right column. That's iMarkets Live, and this is the comp plan for IM Academy. I printed this one out and put it in the video description for y'all to read through. It breaks down each rank in detail. The sheer level of complexity baked into the payment structure should be enough evidence to keep y'all away from this company, even if you could join it in the US. The example they provided for the leg rule is crazy. How are you supposed to keep up with what percentage of each leg is retail customer volume every day in order to keep your ranking bonus from month to month? The system is designed for failure. I could spend all day breaking this down, but I want to focus on how people get sucked in before we review modern day Forex scammers. Members of IML were already convinced Chris Terry and his disciples were financial wizards that could show them the light. But the evolution of Terry's wardrobe and persona showed how much he learned from studying the practices of megachurch pastors and cult leaders. He started wearing tracksuits and backwards fitteds, the true sign of every middle-aged man trying to relate to the youth. He also referred to himself as their daddy in conferences and started referencing God more frequently in reference to his philosophy and leadership. This created a reverence among his followers that went beyond CEO of the company. You wouldn't treat the CEO of your day job like they just dropped the #1 album, so he had to take it up a notch. If I've learned anything about MLMs, leaders need to lean into their cult leader status to distract from how destructive and exploitative their business model is. Oh yeah, remember when I said they got shut down temporarily in America? They still have a functioning website accepting memberships. You can buy one of these courses, which I'm not doing because I'm not supporting them. And as always, they're color-coded like every other set of courses we've talked about. The site is really bare bones compared to their glory days. And it seems as if it's being treated as a money funnel, so they can grab whatever residual income they can while focusing the primary marketing power towards other countries. Let's switch focus to the people trying to push this hustle forward in 2024 though. Before we do, a quick note about leverage. In the trading world, leverage refers to using a small amount of capital to buy currency worth many times more. This amplifies potential gains for sure, but it does the same to your losses. Keep that in mind for what comes next. We gotta identify what makes something a Forex scam before we start calling out these influencers. The point spread scam. This requires direct manipulation of the bid-ask spread, which doesn't really happen anymore due to advances in technology. In the days where trading was more manual, you could just lie about your commission for a given currency pair and get away with it much more easily. The signal seller scam. A firm, asset manager, or individual offers a system that gives customers signals for favorable currency pairs to buy. This system comes with a fee, and once you hand over the cash, they dip on your ass and leave you with subpar info to trade on. This usually takes place in private Telegram groups nowadays. I've never used Telegram, so I had to look this up. They prefer Telegram because of its anonymity and encrypted messaging, which makes it harder for the police to intercept and trace messages. The automation or robot trader scam. The system automates trades while you sleep, so you can get filthy rich, right? Systems like this do exist, but even the best of them are basically gambling. They require consistent optimization and updates, or those signals might as well be random. Things to look out for. High prices with guarantees of results, commingling of funds, which is when your money is mixed in with other investors' money, so you can't track where it's going, and platform problems that prevent you from withdrawing money. For example, all right, we're ready to look at these Forex influencers now. First up, Lamidi Sakira, AKA Kira Forex, CEO of Kira Forex Academy. She calls herself the world's best female Forex trader. Yeah, we got multiple red flags already. Putting Forex in the name of your public persona, centering your brand around teaching people Forex instead of just doing it like any real successful trader would do, and having the audacity to claim you're the best woman in the world at anything as unmeasurable as this makes you look like a clown out the gate. Oh, check this out. She also manages Asserts. Lamidi has an honorary doctorate of philosophy in business administration from Prowess University, a school that claims they don't encourage financial contributions for their doctorates and that they're given to those with significant business achievements that benefit humanity. You are not a doctor. People with honorary degrees don't get to use that designation. I went to college with many, many people who went on to earn PhDs, and even using that word with that caption to pretend you did something noteworthy here is disgusting, to be honest. People with advanced degrees in my audience, feel free to sound off in the comments. Her so-called Forex Academy is entirely within a very crowded but relatively inactive Telegram group and says she's trading synthetics. I didn't know what that meant, so I'm assuming most of y'all don't either. Synthetic derivatives are financial instruments that give a trader the flexibility to mimic another instrument without the requirement to spend all that money to buy or sell the real thing. What's different between synthetics and the real thing? Usually cash flow and duration of the trade. And the word derivative is used because they're literally derived from a program's effort to match the real market. Let me explain this in a way that doesn't confuse both of us. You think Cam stock is gonna hit $80 after this episode. Completely arbitrary number, not based on anything. You'd buy a call option, which gives you the right to purchase a stock at a certain price. You're targeting $80, that's your strike price. Now, in order to create a synthetic position, you'd sell a put option at the same price simultaneously. Puts force the seller, you, to buy at a set price, and the buyer can sell if they want to. This arrangement is like buying the stock on the open market, but without having to spend the money to own the stock. You're pretend trading, at least until the bill comes due. Synthetics are programmed to have less volatility than Forex markets. A government announcement can swing the Forex market, but it wouldn't affect synthetic derivatives at all. There's several different types of synthetics, but this is not a crash course. I'll leave some resources for y'all to read up on it if you're really interested in the video description. While synthetics do offer greater volume and less risk for institutional investors, they require diligent analysis of market signals. And people like Lamidi, who claim to be the best and provide the best signals, are lying to you. Full stop. There's no such thing. Financial markets are too complex to consistently predict, especially when synthetics are a mere facsimile of the real thing. Cap, cap, cap. Y'all want to take a look at this free Telegram group she keeps talking about? This is my favorite part. I scrolled to the beginning of May, and right off the bat, she's helping us identify who her 29,000 members are. Mostly Nigerians and Ghanaians, which makes sense since she's Ghanaian herself. Next, we got a standard MLM type post about being your best self or pursuing dreams or whatever the Then a sales message to push as many people as possible to the paid Elites VVIP premium channel, which is step for step the same way free OnlyFans channels work. Don't ask me how I know that.
Freaky ass nigga.
She forwards all the signals messages from Kira's Elites to double emphasize the point that they need to join the paid chat. More engagement farming about who's awake, pushing people to her Instagram, and then the main event, a paid course with an arbitrary price attached. How do I know it's arbitrary? She's pushing another course that happened earlier this week at $200 a pop with limited slots. The next message proves that she studied the game at MLM University. The overwhelming majority of the statements listed have nothing to do with profiting from trades and everything to do with making sure her students are brainwashed into staying in this horrible ass Telegram. And her actual training videos, I'm not here to make fun of anybody's English. And I'm not even saying there's zero merit to the actual advice, but be for real.
So let's move to the 4-hour time frame. You can see we've already gotten to our point of value, and you can see this huge engulfing candlestick. So I took another trade right after seeing this huge engulfing candlestick.
Jeffrey Benson. This man is the clown prince of Forex trading. I say that literally because his following is the second biggest we've seen yet. Over 277K on YouTube and 426K on IG. We'll get to the king in a second.
What's up, guys? Come have a look. I just made $15,000 again trading. I sent the signal to the signal group and everybody cashed out off of this. I made $15,000. I was risking 5K to make 15K. That was 1 to 3. Good risk to reward. So that's not the major essence of this video.
What? This man's thumbnails look like 2000s trap mixtape covers, and they lean into something even Mr. Beast doesn't do very much. Clickbait. This one's about him quitting Forex after calling it a scam, then links to his free Forex Signals channel. Of course, it's a Telegram. Scrolling his YouTube gave me a headache. It's nothing but gaudy, cartoonish cover images with titles like How I Bought My 8 Dream Cars, How to Flip $10 to $10,000 on Synthetic Indices, and Life as a Forex Trader in Lagos, Nigeria, which is just him riding in an Uber for a few minutes after a quick chart reading lesson. Since this is the third time I've said Nigeria in this piece, it brings up an interesting point. Why are the best Forex traders, or at least some of the most prominent, based in or shifting to international markets while heavily publicizing themselves in America? Why not keep fleecing the US? Is it the tighter regulation, or are they taking advantage of a consumer base that isn't as familiar with these schemes and doesn't recognize a scam when they see one? I'm not under the impression that people outside the US are stupid, and I don't think we're that difficult to scam either, so it must be the legal aspect. Food for thought. Let me know what y'all think, though. Jeffrey sells memberships on his FirePips FX site, ranging from $75 per month to $600 for the year. For that price, you get more than the daily trading session. You get an advanced live trading session. You also get a 2-hour call instead of a 1-hour call to set up a personalized plan, super priority instead of normal priority, which I'm sure means something, and typos. Right after that, it tells us his courses are free. Honestly, in this industry, you can't trust anything anyone says. People like Jeffrey are betting on y'all to be slow on the uptake. Do not fall for it. Okay, I promise y'all we get to the king, and I'm a man of my word.
My name is Swaggy C. 9 years ago, I was super broke in college and came across financial literacy and day trading, and actually met a woman named Bailey on Big Brother, who I soon asked to be my wife on national TV. I retired in the prime of my career. It wasn't making me happy at all. Every time I was on a TV show, I knew that all I wanted to do was focus on day trading, business deals, and everything related to finances, because that's what truly makes me happy, and created several businesses.
Interesting how several of these, like Deep Pockets, Trade Prime, and 365 Swaggy, are either coming soon, waitlisted, or closed. And he sells his catalog of Trading Academy videos for $150 a pop. To top it all off, there's a Telegram link, as always. Are we even surprised at this point? YouTuber Alex Trading Reviews already exposed him for lying about not losing a trade in 50 days, giving ineffective advice to the point where the opposite strategy would be profitable, and the general bullshit these influencers do when it comes to providing trading signals. Check that out here or in the description. I'm just tired at this point.
Baby, calm down, calm down. Get this your body, put him out for lockdown, for lockdown.
If you're watching this and you're seriously considering trading in the Forex market, you might be surprised that I'm not ending this video telling you to stay away. The Forex market isn't the scam. These scammers just use it to fleece people who don't know any better. If you're one of the thousands of people who've been burned by fake experts like these, you can research brokers using the Background Affiliation Status Information Center, or BASIC, great acronym, which was created by the National Futures Association. The NFA exists to safeguard the derivative industry and monitor its members. They built this database where you can enter the firm's name, NFA member's ID, or their name and pull up their credentials. A system like this isn't bulletproof, but it's obviously better than listening to some dude named Swaggy C or Mamba FX. If someone's shoving a free group or course in your face, it's always a gateway to a paid version of it. If they're operating out of a Telegram group, walk away. If they price their services as if they're the best trader on earth and nobody else can do what they do, speed walk. If they start talking mindset, dreams, and positive thinking, sprint. Don't allow your desire for a better life to lead you down this road. You're not gonna like what's at the end of it. I promise. Nobody cares if you're a Chairman 100 in an MLM. Y'all got the information now. Can't say I ain't tell you. Hey, you watching this on YouTube right now, I appreciate you sticking through to the outro. That's huge. I'm just trying my best to give the information and also make it entertaining. So let me know what y'all want to see from me. This is my full-time job now, and that means I'm gonna be even more dedicated to pushing out more content because I got my time back. So shout out to everybody in this list right now, scrolling by. Y'all are the GOATs. And I'm gonna see y'all real soon, sooner than usual. All right, peace.